Mahomes got a chance to get up there, but
He's
it's going to be
good.
tough to do.
Yeah, that's going to
Good.
be hard. That's
It
going to
is,
be hard.
but Mahomes is that dude's different too.
He is different.
He is. He's talent-wise, I would take him over Tom, but wins-wise, you got to go Tom, obviously. Team-wise, how about
I
that?
tell you what, that's a long road ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
Something
if
to
he
reach
is
for.
going to do, right?
Something to reach for.
Yeah.
Pulled up, made my appearance. You can't sit with us without clearance. That lame shit, never let it near us. And your girl will choose my team cause you still living with your parents. Flexing on the gram with your paycheck. Stop showing off them bills you ain't paid yet. Couture 101, this ain't made yet. My gang never playing like we came off the same jet. I'ma need a section cause we tryna make the
This is LeVar Arrington here. We're tuned in, locked in for another edition of Conversations with the Legends presented by Up on Game. And obviously, shouts out to our people at Pace-O-Matic for supporting and sponsoring what we do. I have an esteemed guest with me today and another esteemed guest with me today. That's 1 + 1. That's right. I have two esteemed guests with me. My man, Chris T. Clem, who worked at former chief patrol agent for our U.S. Border Patrol here in Arizona, and my litter mate. We were pups together coming into the 2000 draft. Hall of Famer, linebacker, leader, football player, and absolute grown man extraordinaire. I got my man Brian Urlacher here. Some of us call him B-Lack, but you know what? You'd have to know him to be able to do that. So you don't want to get hurt up. But hey, here we go. Here we are. Appreciate having you guys
Thank
here,
you.
man.
Good to be here.
It's been forever since I've seen you, Lack, man, but can't tell you how proud I am of you. Let's start here. Our guy just finished up his career, an illustrious career. We can brag and boast that there's possibly the best draft class to ever be drafted in the history of the NFL because, well, we have the greatest football player of all time, right?
Yep.
Tom calls it quits. That brings an end to the last of the Mohicans of 2000. What is your take on his career? What was it like watching that greatness take place?
It's hard to believe it. What, 23 years, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been retired for 11 years now, and I'm like, well, Tom was drafted in my class. And I'm like, what? I've been out 11 years, and I played for 13. So it's crazy that he's played, and at the level he played at for so long is unheard of. I think just goes to show you mentally he was so far ahead of everybody else. He always knew where to go with the football, and people are like, well, his arm was lacking. The ball was gone before it mattered anyway, so none of that stuff really matters. But just to do what he did, 7 Super Bowl wins. I think he played in 10 or 11. I played in 1, and I was happy as hell to play in 1. He played it. If he wasn't in the Super Bowl, it was a disappointing season. Just an amazing career what he did, and it'll never be duplicated. Well, Mahomes got a chance to get up there, but it's going to be tough to do.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard.
But Mahomes that dude's different too.
He is different.
He is. He's talent-wise, I would take him over Tom, but wins-wise, you got to go Tom, obviously. Team-wise, how about that?
I tell you what, that's a long road ahead of Patrick Mahomes.
Something to reach for.
Going to do, right?
Something to reach for.
Yeah, and speaking of something to reach for, you reach back, and that's why we have Chris here with us. Obviously, military service members, frontline workers, mental health and all that, the awareness of those things is a major part of what is your movement.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about the work that you guys are doing.
Well, start off, Chief. So I went down and met them at the Border Patrol at the Yuma sector here. Was it November last year? October?
September.
Was it, it was hot. It was still hot as hell. I'll tell you that.
okay.
Yeah, it was still warm. Went down there. I got a chance to go meet himself and probably about 70 or 80 of our Border Patrol members. And we're in Arizona, so the border is right there. It's front and center for us. We see what's going on all the time down there. But to get down there and just to kind of show the Border Patrol that we do support them, that everything you see on the media is not true. So we want to go down there and show them that we give them some love and got to hang out with them for a little bit and just show them we do support them. And Chief Clem was very gracious this time. He came out, got to go on the boat patrol on the Colorado River, got on a dune buggy, which I don't want to do again.
Okay.
No, thank you, but go ahead, Chief. I'll let you tell you.
Well,
yeah,
first of all, it's an honor to be here and to sit next to both of y'all and talk about this. Clearly, what we're seeing on the border, it's a humanitarian crisis is what it is. You have people from all over the world. Last year in my sector in Yuma, people from 116 different countries. And really, Central America and Mexico didn't even make my top 10 most of the time.
Wow.
It is a massive humanity. And what that was doing, it was pulling all our security resources for our border security mission to handle this massive humanity, which was allowing the criminal element to control the border. And that's where the hard narcotics, the fentanyl, that we know is killing people.
It's killing people. Yes.
One piece of fentanyl that's the size of a grain of salt can kill somebody. Last year, Border Patrol agents and our port officers seized over 700 pounds of fentanyl. That could kill everybody in the state of Arizona 21 times. And so when we're dealing with a humanitarian crisis and knowing that there's vulnerabilities that are created for this, it takes a toll on our workforce. And so having Brian, we brought Nick Lowry, Randy Grimes, others down there just to say thank you, to see what was going on, and see how we can do a better job of supporting the men and women that are trying to keep this nation safe.
Sure.
And dealing with people that were truly trying to get a better life or free oppression and things like that.
So we're talking about the mental health. It's interesting when the criticisms of law enforcement or border patrol, when it's talked about, it's almost villainized, so to speak, in today's media and just the angles that are taken. But what about the mental health of the service members? I'm a military kid. I'm a big proponent of supporting our military, just like I support our service members, firemen, police, border patrol. Talk about the mental health issues for you guys, because I think sometimes we lose facts or lose perspective on you guys are serving, and it's also an idea of your warriors at the same time, right? So how does that work out, and why is that so important to incorporate someone like BLAC into it? And I'll ask you, why is it so important? Because I'm sure it's something you relate to as well. How important is that, the mental health aspects of what it is that you do?
Well, great question, and again, thank you for your support. Look, the law enforcement profession, right, wrong, or otherwise, has taken a hit. And just like in every profession, there are bad apples, right? And we're going to deal with those. Nobody despises a bad cop than good cops, right? We're out there doing national security work, keeping America safe. And when you have issues that are ongoing, right, and being villainized, it does take a toll, because in our area, especially on the remote areas, you're out there by yourself, taking on, sometimes you're outnumbered 100 to 1, and you got to have your head together. And so if you're constantly being villainized, you're constantly seeing policies, taken away from you that are supporting you, it wears on you over time. And it may be a traumatic event dealing with death, bad accidents, shootings, things like that. And you may be okay, but in the back of your mind, that stuff weighs on you. And you have to have your head in the game. Just like on game day, if you're not 100%, something's going to happen. You're going to get hit the wrong way, could end your career. Same thing happens with law enforcement and our Border Patrol agents. And so, as the chief, I can speak till I'm blue in the face about, hey, we got to do these things. But when I recognized that I had access to people like Brian to come down there who are legends and heroes on the field and say, hey, thank you, boy, that resonated with our workforce. And they were so gracious to have somebody outside of uniform, somebody who was recognizable, come in and say, hey, appreciate what you're doing. It's a tough job. Thank you for doing it. It was huge, Lord.
Why is that so important?
Just to get a chance to give back. I think you see what they're going, to hear the stories they told us in person, man, who would believe it, Lillard? The things that they see and the mental, I can't imagine seeing things like the little kids that come across the border by themselves, like they put notes on them and drop them and say, call this number when they get here.
Wow.
It just, and there's many other things I won't say on your show, but just there's a chance to, for me, just want to get a chance to meet them and say thank you in person and just see what was going on, kind of get your feet on the ground and see what's going on in person.
My last question for you, and I appreciate you guys sitting down with me. I generally, if you notice, I don't talk a lot of football. I don't talk a lot of sports.
I like that.
I like to give people an opportunity to know who you guys are. The question I always ask is, legacy-wise, when it's all said and done, what is it that you would like people to say, this is what was important to me about Brian Urlacher?
He was a good dad. That's all I really care about. Man, my kids mean the world to me. Football was great. Football gave me the opportunity to do a lot of different things, opened a lot of doors for me, but my kids mean the world to me. So I just want, if people know me personally, they'll know how important my kids are to me. That's all I really care about.
All right. What you got?
You know, as a parent, I would say that's number one in my mind is that my wife, my children saw that I did the best I could, and I was a good person.
Love that. Love that. All right. Chris T. Clem, my man B. Lack, Brian Urlacher, you know, Linebackers Coalition right here. The great Brian Urlacher. You've been blessed. All right. This is Conversations with a Legend. Up On Game presents Pace-O-Matic. Appreciate my man coming on and my other man coming on. You know, my man and my other man plus equals two of my mans. So, all right, make sure you check us out on your podcast. That's right, don't get confused. Check us out wherever it is that you get your podcast. Up On Game presents. All right, we'll catch you later. We'll be right back.
Cause they tryna do what we do. I know I'ma make it cause I need to. Feeling like Sean, I'm the Don. She do.